What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 3 Wide podcast. And yeah, we had the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix today, or this morning for me, and a decent end to an amazing Formula One season, one of which that we already knew who the world champion was, and the Constructors champion coming into the race. Obviously, it was Sebastian Vettel's, Daniel Ricciardo, Nicholas Latifi, and Mick Schumacher's last race in Formula One. Mick and Ricciardo, at least for now, or everyone for now, really. But the real two, or the real one, is really Sebastian Vettel in his last race for Aston Martin in Formula One in general. Received a nice guard of honor before the race started today, which is really, really sweet of the other drivers. A driver that deserves a lot of credit for being so consistent over the years and being just such a charismatic and funny and entertaining guy to drive around and very respectful to his other opponents. And yeah, we're definitely going to miss him on the Formula One grid. But it's going to be a quicker video today, just recapping the race. So we had a couple an okay race in terms of entertainment value. Obviously, last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was a lot better due to the stakes that were on it. The main stake running into today's race was Leclerc versus Perez for second in the championship. And Leclerc ended up edging Perez, who opted for a two-stop strategy, mediums to hards to mediums, I believe, or mediums to hards, one of the two. And Leclerc went right from mediums to hards on a one-stop strategy. The one-stop of Leclerc being much more viable than Perez's two-stop, which saw Leclerc finish second overall and second in the championship. You can say all you want about the Max Verstappen incident last week, but those 2 points wouldn't have made a difference today, because he got outscored by around, was it 3 points maybe, or a couple more? I forgot the scoring differential, but yeah, Leclerc finished P2 and Perez finished P3, meaning Leclerc finished second in the World Drivers' Championship, which is really interesting. So that was pretty cool to see. I don't know what that does for Ferrari's budget per se, but I know Ferrari also finished P2 in the Drivers' Championship. I mean the Constructors, which they were most likely going to do anyways. Lewis Hamilton had a hydraulics issue that he suffered on lap 1, which led him to retire on lap 53 or 50, I believe, one of the two. And yeah, so Mercedes had to outscore Ferrari by 20 points in order to jump up to second in the championship for Constructors, and that just wasn't going to happen even if Hamilton stayed in the race. So yeah, that was unlucky to see Lewis Hamilton have a retirement. Although, I'm not going to lie, he definitely could have stayed on. I mean, Sainz did push him off a little bit, I feel like. But Lewis definitely had room to get out of the move and, just cover, float in behind Sainz. Sainz didn't drive him off the track like we've seen Max Verstappen do in the past. There was a decent amount of room left, and Hamilton just didn't want to take it. And actually passed Sainz off track, which then he gave the place back. And Hamilton suffered a real loss of pace after that. And he looked quite racy early on, so that was kind of a shame to see. But, what could you do? And then, yeah, also Fernando Alonso, another retirement. Unlucky for him. He's had a really, really unlucky season. However, the one retirement in Mexico, I stand by saying he deserved that after those comments about Lewis Hamilton. But yeah, today was very unlucky for him. But he was looking forward to his last race in Alpine because he's moving over to Aston Martin, which I'm sure gave him a pretty penny. The man replacing Sebastian Vettel, hopefully could do a good job for Aston Martin, who I believe might make a decent jump in the standings for next season. I think they're going to be a lot better than they've shown. I think they've shown a lot of pace at some circuits and some points in the season, and then obviously showed the latter, the opposite. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with them next season. I'm very excited to see Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll as teammates because, Esteban Ocon isn't too fond of his teammates. Lance Stroll doesn't really seem to be fond either after he almost drove Vettel off the track in Brazil last week. So, it's going to be pretty cool to see that. And, yeah, besides that, a George Russell unsafe release due to a long pit stop. It was a pretty boring race. I won't lie. Definitely not as close as exciting as a Brazilian Grand Prix last week. But yeah, I think also the race for me was a little bit like the sting of it was a little bit taken out of due to the World Cup starting today, which I hope you guys watched. It was a pretty shit game from Qatar standards. I'm sorry, it's just their team is terrible, and Ecuador weren't that good either, but they were really good today, so fair play to them. Anyway, back to the Formula One. Yeah, it was tough to see Daniel Ricciardo, especially that message he got on his wheel after his in-lap or during his in-lap. It's going to be tough to see him go. I think he's going to be reserve driver for Red Bull, I'm sorry. And I think Mick might be reserve driver for Mercedes, which would be cool to see. And yeah, I mean, that's really all that happened. It was a pretty boring race of the season. Not really much going on except for the P2 battle in the Drivers' Championship, which Leclerc ended up winning. So hopefully he can carry this pace into next year, because Ferrari did look quick these last couple of races. Not Mexico, and because of their pace loss due to their turbocharger, but Brazil, they looked really fast, and today they looked really fast. So hopefully we can see that as well, and hopefully the Mercedes team get things right for next season as well. So yeah, a pretty decent season in Formula One, I think, for all teams except for Red Bull, because they just ran away with it. That's not me hating on Red Bull. It's just to show how dominant they were this season. And yeah, hopefully it could be more competitive at the top. Maybe McLaren will make a move to the front teams. Maybe Aston Martin, maybe Alpine. Who knows? But yeah, looking forward for next season. We're only, 2-ish months away from testing. So I'll see you guys then. Take care and peace, everybody. And be on the lookout for more hot takes and fun style of videos in the future. Take care and peace, everybody.